So, hey, y'all, thank you so much for coming to our April Farm Bill series. Yeah, we wanted to talk about this like relatively new bill that obviously we all are excited about just by the name, Local Farms and Food Act. So I'm gonna pass it to Jaylen to get us started.
Yeah, welcome folks. And if this is your first time joining, this is NC Food System Advocacy Coalition. And this is our Farm Bill virtual series of 2023. And every month we're trying to join you all and share about different marker bills and updates happening on the road to 2023 Farm Bill reauthorization. And we were kind of mulling over what we were going to chat about this month because there's a bunch of things happening. And then this bill dropped last week. So this is very fresh, very new information, but we have our wonderful partners at the National Sustainable Agriculture Coalition in DC, of which CFSA, Carolina Farm Stewardship Association, is a member, has done some wonderful work getting this bill out and then disseminating information about it. So we're going to be sharing information with you all today about the Local Farms and Food Act, Senate Bill 1205, House Bill 2723, and then we'll share some ways to take action on it later in the session. And we might get out. We usually try to have some guests join to talk about how these bills impact their work with the timing and just with our capacity. We weren't able to do that this week, so you're just gonna have to hear my funnel voice for the next 20 minutes or so, and then we're gonna open it up for some questions. So what is the Local Farms and Food Act? I'm gonna drop an outline for you all in the chat so you can read it there. This bill is really, we all knew this before COVID, but many folks did not know this before COVID, the importance of our regional food systems and farmers markets, to really sustain our local economies and to have, food system resiliency. And farmers markets being, a key anchor institution in those systems. And the overarching LAMP programs and GusNIP are, programs at USDA that are designed to do exactly that, support regional and local food system development, support farmers markets development, support strategic thinking about development of food systems. And then GusNIP is really designed to support SNAP access in those local and regional food systems, in those direct to consumer market opportunities. So that's what this bill is designed to do, to support those activities and continue to make those investments. I'm going to drop both. There's the Senate and the House versions of this bill. So I'm going to drop both of those into the chat now. And I want to share a little bit about what these programs are a bit that they're investing in. So maybe if you can go to the next slide, Brett. So this act, one of the things this act will do is catalyze new investments in rural and urban communities to expand local businesses, create jobs, and create economic impact. And that is really through these investments in the LAMP program. I'm going to drop a link into that so you can check out at USDA what exactly LAMP is. LAMP supports the development, coordination, and expansion of direct producer to consumer marketing, local and regional market enterprises, value-added agricultural products. And LAMP covers the Farmers Market Promotion Program, the Local Food Promotion Program, and the Regional Food System Partnership Program, as well as the Value-Added Producer Grants Program. So these are all different programs under USDA that are all kind of folded together under LAMP in the last Farm Bill. And so I'm going to drop some more links in here so you can kind of see exactly what those programs are, and you can check out, where some of those programs have been invested in previously. So that first link is to the Farmers Market Promotion Program. This one right here is 2022 awards to the Regional Food Systems Partnership Program. And then here is the link to the USDA GusNIP page, so you can check out kind of all of those resources. And you can see, scrolling through some of those where those investments were, and some of those were definitely in North Carolina over the past, 5 years. Can you scroll to the next slide, please, Brett? So, part of those programs, they provide structure investments. Local food promotion program, farmers market promotion program. Those are all programs that can support actual infrastructure on farm, on farmers markets. So it's increasing infrastructure investments. Next slide. And ensuring through this support for GusNIP, these changes to GusNIP, they're going to help create more equitable access to farmers markets. There are the updates to the GusNIP grants. They're going to require a separate review panel for GusNIP produce prescription grants that includes healthcare administrator and provider participation. And the most important part is it reduces the match requirement for applicants from 50% to 25%. And this is a big deal. This is, USDA listening to feedback. It's the same for the VAPG grants. This is also lowering that from 50% to 25%. And USDA is recognizing that small growers, small farmers markets are a limited resource, and they don't necessarily need to be providing a 50% match to get these funds. So it's lowering those requirements. Let's go to the next slide, please. And it makes a simpler grant application, is streamlining grant applications for FMPP and LFPP to make it easier. They're going to be turnkey projects for projects of a turnkey grant for projects of $100,000 or less, and that is going to make it a lot easier for folks with smaller budgets to put in a more simpler grant application. And then it's also, it's increasing the eligible activities and funding that's available under LAMP, that allows more infrastructure and equipment purchases, allows more use around nutrition benefit redemption and related activities, and allows more allowances around value chain coordination and technical assistance. Let's go to the next one. We kind of said all this already. It's removing some of those barriers. So, with that new separate review panel, with these new turnkey projects, it's streamlining all of these. Let's go to the next slide. So we are fully, CFSA has been kind of working behind the scenes with NSAC on some of this bill, and the North Carolina Food System Advocacy Coalition. We really believe that this bill will strengthen our local and regional food systems and supply chains. We've heard consistently from folks about the need for turnkey grants and smaller matches and improving GusNIP. So this is really taking in all, this coalition engaged in some listening sessions at the end of 2021, where we, heard from folks and sent that information up to NSAC. Some of these things were heard then, heard from across the country, and now is being incorporated into this new bill. So we also, that VAPG match, reduction is for smaller growers, $250,000 or less. So we're really seeing narrowing down, focusing on those more limited producers, those more limited projects with lower budgets, and helping them to better access these programs. Next slide. I think we're almost there. So that was really quick, but that's really the breakdown. And we are putting these slides today, this deck, into an Instagram post, which will be on our Instagram here very shortly. So we would encourage you to get on Instagram and like and share that. CFSA, we are doing an action alert through our monthly policy themed newsletter called The Buzz. That will go out tomorrow. And in that newsletter, there'll be an action alert on FPPRA, or sorry, LFFA, Local Food and Farm Act. And I just dropped the link in there for you if you want to sign up for CFSA's monthly policy themed newsletter, and then you'll get that action alert tomorrow. That will have sample language that you could use to either email or call either your senators or your legislators to send the message to co-sponsor the Local Farms and Food Act. We were talking earlier before y'all got on about how there's no really Southern folks on either of these of the versions of this bill. And there was lots of work with the offices who are co-sponsoring, but now it's really on us to get the word out and get some Southern co-sponsors and get some folks added on there, so folks can see nationally that this is supported from across the country. So please sign up to get that newsletter. And then also the National Sustainable Agriculture Coalition is doing a national sign-on letter that you can do online in support. And so I'm dropping that link in now, and you can sign that today as a way to support. So that's it. I'm gonna wind down. I see Arlene already has her hands up for questions, and we're just gonna open it up for any other questions. And then Bobby, before we get off, Bobby's gonna share with you all about some other opportunities and ways to engage with us as we start to try and engage in some meetings coming up. So Arlene, what question or comment you got?
Yes, hello everyone. I wondered if anybody on this call was going to the Food Research and Action Center Anti-Hunger Policy Conference, because I do know visits have been made with our North Carolina congressional delegation. And I do know Mr. Rouser is on the Ag Committee, and you said there were no co-sponsors, and I'm assuming he is not one. They will be meeting with him, and that might be a good time for them to share this, for you to share this information with them.
So I think Jessica is meeting with them. They explicitly said there's too much on the line right now with SNAP, and that whole meeting is going to be very SNAP focused. So they didn't want to also tag team him and overwhelm him with this, which is understandable. I mean, there's a House bill that came out recently around increasing SNAP work requirements and lowering it to 3 months. And so I think they're very concerned about that, and that's going to be their focus, which we understand. But we need to meet ASAP with Rouser again. We just had Alma Adams has a new Ag LA, like her fourth in about as many months, but he reached out and wants to know about it and chat with us. So we're trying to set that up too. And then also Davis in your district, Arlene. We've been trying to meet with him, but Arlene, I want to chat with you soon. The Just Foods Collaborative is interested in hosting an in-person event, possibly with Davis, possibly not till the August recess. But I'd love to chat with you to see if that's something y'all are interested in being part of as well. But yeah, those House Ag Committee folks are a priority. But Bobby's gonna mention, later on, we need to meet with everybody, and we need to share this message with everybody. And so anyone in North Carolina who wants to meet with folks, we are here to support you and to set that up and to help be a bridge to those conversations. So
okay, thanks.
Yep. Any other questions or comments or examples, or I think if you look at 2020 for the Farmers Market Promotion Program, that's the last time North Carolina organizations accessed that money, and one of those actually went to CFSA for $325,000, and there was a bunch of food safety technical assistance for farmers and farmers markets. Feast Down East got a grant for $249,000 around building out their locomotive mobile farmers market. RAFI, Rural Advancement Foundation International, they also got a $410,000 grant that year around alternative market technical assistance for direct marketing farmers. So that's over $1 million, or about $1 million, that came into North Carolina in 2020 to really support the ecosystems of farmers markets and market growers. And so just want to reiterate, that's a lot of money, and a lot of money that can go decent ways in terms of food system development in North Carolina. But you can read throughout all those projects that are funded and really see some really inspiring projects and ideas around how farmers markets and communities can leverage these funds to do some pretty unique food system resiliency development. Any other comments or questions or concerns? Phoebe?
Can you say again who, or maybe, I don't know, maybe you said this, like, yeah, just kind of who the targeted Congress folks are?
In North Carolina,
Yeah,
everyone. I
just
mean, there's no North Carolina co-sponsors. The Rouser District 7, Davis District 1, Alma Adams District 12, those are the targets because they're on the House Ag Committee.
yeah,
Getting them to co-sponsor, really important. But really, anyone and everyone. And this bill
okay,
just came out, so it's like it's a real great time just to send a message and say, you're a constituent and you care about this.
okay,
And then if you hear back and folks want to know more, holler at us and let's do a meeting.
okay. Okay, thank you.
Anything else, David? We can't hear you. Looks like you're trying to talk. We can't hear you. Maybe you're not trying to talk. Well, if no one has any questions, please sign up for those links. The action over the next couple weeks will be wonderful. And I'm going to hand it over to Bobby to give a final pitch before we get y'all out of here early today.
All right. Thank you, Jaylen. If you've been attending some of our meetings, you'll see why we're so excited about the Local Farm and Food Act, what it will allow us to do and what we've been trying to encourage and work on. So we're kind of excited. So we want to do everything we can in order to encourage and support that. One of the things that we can do is to have our advocacy meetings with our district representatives, and definitely our congressional representatives that are on the Ag Committee. Erlene, you was talking earlier, and we definitely want to have our representative, because we have the same representative, our Representative Davis. Want to get him involved in this. So I put just to make it easy, I put my contact information in the chat. I will be reaching out to you if you don't reach out to me, but please reach out to me if you're interested, or if you want to have a conversation about this, because I clearly would like to have a conversation with you relative to what we can do in order to get our congressional representatives involved. And once again, if you've been hanging out with us, you know that we are very much supportive of this act. So we want to invite you to participate in our monthly meetings. We have them every second Friday at 1 o'clock. And I think it'll be very beneficial, very helpful for you, as well as very helpful for us, for you to be a part of that discussion. Phoebe, I feel like I can't say anything without getting you involved. And yeah, I see your hands up. I don't know if it just was up from before, but hopefully you want to say something.
Yeah, I have a question just about, so Toxic Free NC we just started a new action network, campaigning thing, to be technical. So that's what I'm just thinking about. Yeah, maybe some talking points, I guess, from all of those things you shared, and then maybe that's something that we could do. Is a kind of I guess letter to your rep and asking them to be a co-sponsor, and we can just send that out to our folks. Does that feel like a good thing to do?
It's one of the tools in our toolkit, that's for sure.
Okay.
We actually would like to have meetings with them as well, so we can make that a part of the conversation and develop a plan for your individual district.
Yeah.
Because they're a little different, and they have different things that we want to focus on. But clearly, we want to advocate for this act that we got that Jaylen talked about today.
Yeah. Okay, thank you.
All right, thanks, Jaylen, for such a good presentation. We need to encourage him to put more links in the chat in the future. He didn't do quite enough today. One of those. But thank you, and thank everybody for taking their time to come We love complimenting your lunch. So have a good day. And I don't have anything else to say unless you got something to say, Brad.